and then I'll ask both you and Yan just to summarize the discussion today. What would be the 3-4 points why people should invest in your venture? Before you go to that, I will ask you the question that we got: why Sibling? Why did you guys came to Sibling for part of the round?
So I'll be the devil's advocate and I'll answer the question: why not? Right? What's wrong with Sibling? First of all, right? Second of all, the investors that we have and our round that's being built, they have very high regards for Sibling, right? And that's actually part of our, let's say, investor network, right? So we see that as a viable option, right? The third is also from network effect. You never know who you're going to meet, right? So that's something that I always take dear as a founder. You don't know who is on the call today that might be interested in, the Hunch story, not just from a capital perspective, but also, hey, I worked in this. And we're actually also speaking with a UK-based sort of a Sibling, which is a very specific network within the AdTech MarTech that has all the former executives from the UK and, the wider European region. That'll be individual investors into an SPV. So, that's our answer to that question, which I think is a good one too.
Yeah. Now, last one before, like I said, before we summarize with the bullets for the investors, what do you like most about your journey with Hunch so far? I love this question. It's very nice.
It's a good question. I mean, it always comes down to people, any journey comes down to, it's not just the destination, it's the time that you spend. This is my second time around building, a startup. A first one got acquired. I've had some projects in between. And it always comes down to those moments when you're working with the team and those inflection points and the hair raising on your arms and that sort. So, the best thing I love about, Hunch and why we built this thing is that you have people that are dedicated, they get excited, that you can share this, story with, that you love to have a beer with. It's just the people that we've assembled are people that, are good people, and they're from this region. And, I always like to say, we're a small little company in a small little place that's doing, a lot of things on the global scale. And that's, to our mandate and our mission. I'm speaking for myself, but also for Jan in terms of finding good teams that want to play on the global playground. We have one of those, right? And so that's my answer to your question is, why Hunch, and what I love about that is just the people that are involved.
Cool. Thanks, Sigi. Jan, now I'll start with you and then leave it with Sigi, the last thing. So I don't know, help our investors here in the call.
Sure.
With 3-4 reasons why they should invest in Hunch.
Look, I'm not, to be honest, I'm not very familiar with, with the profile of investors on the call, but I can speak from our perspective and what kind of investor we are. I would say we're fairly conservative, but conservative in a sense where we like to invest in real companies solving real problems for real customers, and with a very quick time to market. And this is what we saw in Hunch. And what we continue to see in Hunch, and especially over the past 18 months, since the middle of 2020, I guess, there's a lot of pull from the market. And previously there was a question about an IPO. I really don't know, but when I look at the next 2 to 3 years, I really see solid growth for the company, a lot of market pull, and a de-risked business essentially. On top of that, Sinisa and the team, obviously the company is not just Sinisa, but the team has been great to work with. They're great partners. I'm hoping we would be getting some value add investors also from this group, and to continue Hunch's journey. So as I say, I think looking at the next 2 to 3 years, with a business that's, I think, coming at a very reasonable valuations, because we all know that we're seeing a lot of different numbers nowadays. I think this is a solid business with a solid client base, not at a crazy valuation. So I think, it's a good opportunity for investors on the call.
All right, thanks, Jan. Sigi, your last word, 3-4 reasons people should invest in your venture.
Yeah, I think there's lots of reasons, right? Primarily we are right now at an inflection point that we are getting a lot of pull, right? We're getting pulled into the upper mid market. We're getting pulled into the enterprise. We're getting pulled into solving big problems that cost a lot of money, that will only cost more money in the future, right? When we're talking about creative, when we're talking about video, when we're talking about the market, social advertising spend and so forth. So there's plenty of forces that are pushing us or pulling us into that. And so that's the reason why, honestly, we're part of doing this round is so that we can de-risk the business as it grows, number one. The second is, coming from this area, I generally grew up, rooting for the underdog, right? So for me, it's always been about, how can you create a Cinderella story, right? And say, have that mission, right? So as, I spent time in California and there was lots of turmoil in this part of the world and, not much investment. We really did have an idea of how can we help this region, grow, right? How can we, or how can I, what can I do, to help, create an environment where tomorrow people and their kids can have fruitful, careers. And so that's part of this, by investing in Hunch, you're definitely contributing to that, right? You're, investing into a company that is locally organized, that's attacking a global, market, and that's winning against global players, right? That's an underdog. That's a sort of a Cinderella story. And so that kind of what fuels me personally is that effect, right? So if you find yourself in that camp, this is one of your stories, right? The third is that right now where Hunch is and where we see it going and where we know it'll be, right, is the timing is perfect because as Jan mentioned, we're significantly de-risked, right? So we have a business that's growing almost organically, let's say not much invested capital. We've opened up conversations with, global advertising companies, agencies, brands. And I think the point of entry today is a sweet point because the valuations may not reflect the actual state of where the company is in terms of the knowledge, in terms of the inflection points of where we are and sort of who we're winning against. So I think that would be the third point, is that the timing is perfect for this round.
All right. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. And there is one last question that I would defer a bit. So what are the terms of the deal on Sibling? I would kindly invite everybody to log in the platform and you will have all the details as usual. I don't want to disclose those now.